drive charging. Frameshift 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 drive charging. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits. Frameshift drive supercharged. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits. Frameshift drive supercharged. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Drive Module repaired. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits. Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits. Frameshift drive supercharged. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits. Frameshift drive supercharged. Frameshift drive charging.
Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Maroklat of Alliance Interpol has announced that Admiral George Varma, who was arrested last week on suspicion of working with terrorist organization the League of Reparation, was in fact framed by Rear Admiral Riri McAllister. It is now believed that McAllister is Nexus, the League's central coordinator. Following this development, information decrypted by a tri-superpower task force has revealed the location of League strongholds in two systems, one in Imperial and one in Federal space. A two-pronged operation to destroy these enclaves is now underway. Princess Aisling Duval has discussed her forthcoming marriage in an interview with Solomon Helios. The princess insisted that any negativity surrounding the wedding was based on prejudice and fear, saying, "Shouldn't we all be free to love whomever we wish?" Meanwhile, there has been a spate of violence against the Thargoid-worshipping Far God cult, resulting in dozens of deaths and hundreds of injuries. The Far God cultists have offered no resistance to the aggression. Local security forces have been slow to respond to the incidents, and few arrests have been made. In other news, a thermonuclear weapon, launched over 1,000 years ago during Earth's Third World War, has been discovered. The intercontinental ballistic missile was found beneath the Pacific Ocean, during construction of new undersea habitation off the coast of California. The missile's uranium
Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
core has been
Frameshift drive supercharged.
and the risk to local populations nullified. Finally, a spokesperson for the Cobra Wing has announced that its campaign to build a research outpost in the Ebor system has been enthusiastically
Frameshift drive charging.
received by the galactic community. Scores of pilots supported the campaign by delivering commodities to Morris Enterprise and eliminating agitators in Ebor, thereby ensuring the safety of traders. And those are the main stories this week. Starport status update. This report presents the latest data on starports experiencing technical issues as a result of Thargoid sensor interference. The following starports are currently closed: Rebi Enterprise, Tasheka; Singer Orbital, Matsia; Stabenow Survey, Cerno; Vauculus Vision, Veroclist. The following starports continue to experience technical issues: Sturkow Port, SPOCS 253. Meanwhile, the following starports are on the brink of closure: Hunt the League of Reparation. A tri-superpower task force has launched a campaign to track down and eliminate members of terrorist group, the League of Reparation. Captain Niam Sutonia of the IISS, who is a prominent member of the task force, made this announcement. With the arrest of Riri McAllister, otherwise known as Nexus, we now hold the main coordinator of the League of Reparation in custody. Furthermore, decrypted information has revealed the location of League strongholds in 2 separate systems, one in Imperial, and one in Federal space. We are determined to eliminate these terrorists before they can wreak any more havoc, but fully expect tough resistance. Therefore we ask the galactic community to provide support in wiping out these dangerous extremists. The operation in Zibal will be coordinated by Zibal Power Company. Likewise, military action in Ian Palang will be supported by Ian Palang Corporation. The campaign begins on the 19th of July 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Cobra Wing campaign concludes. A spokesperson for the Cobra Wing has announced that its campaign to build a research outpost in the Ebor system has been enthusiastically received by the galactic community. Scores of pilots supported the campaign by delivering commodities to Morris Enterprise, and eliminating agitators in Ebor, thereby ensuring the safety of traders. A spokesperson for the Cobra Wing released the following statement. We want to thank all the commanders who supported this campaign. We hope that the new outpost helps us communicate with our neighbors and achieve peace. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their awards from Morris Enterprise, in the Ebor system. Unexploded nuclear missile discovered. A thermonuclear weapon, launched over 1,000 years ago during Earth's Third World War, has been discovered. The intercontinental ballistic missile was found beneath the Pacific Ocean, during construction of new undersea habitation off the coast of California. Lieutenant Commander Paige Patterson, a munitions disposal specialist for the Federal Navy, gave this statement. The missile was partially embedded in the ocean floor when aqua engineering teams found it. Erosion of the casing makes identification difficult, but the design is consistent with strategic ordnance of the mid-21st century. Its thermonuclear warhead would have had an explosive yield of 45 megatons. Robotic avatar units have successfully disarmed the missile's uranium core, so the risk to local populations has been nullified. We are now treating the area for radiation leakage. The remains of the missile will be scrapped. Dr. Imogen Riang, a historian specializing in Earth conflicts, observed.
Warning, frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
A variety of relics from World War III, which took place between 2044 and 2055, have been found over the centuries. All nuclear exchanges between nation-states were thought to be well documented, so this discovery
Frameshift drive supercharged.
comes as quite a shock. Although the missile's origin remains a mystery, its location near the western seaboard suggests 2 possibilities. Either it was a failed launch from a silo in the United States, or it was an inbound enemy missile that failed to reach its target. In the latter case, it was likely disabled by the USA's defensive laser grid, which combined ground
Frameshift drive charging.
turrets with armed satellites. This was how America avoided a nuclear detonation on its soil during the war, unlike most other continents on Earth. Far God cult attacked. There has been a spate of violence against the Thargoid-worshipping Far God cult, resulting in dozens of deaths and hundreds of injuries. Since the Church of Eternal Void declared war against the sect, its members have compelled citizens to attack Far God believers in many systems. Several of the sect's places of worship have been firebombed. The Far God cultists have offered no resistance to the aggression, and have even refused to leave burning hive chapels. Cardinal Hieronymus, representing the Church of Eternal Void, addressed a large crowd. Our loyal followers are performing the Guardian's righteous work. Those who serve the Thargoid demons are demons themselves, and we must cast them out with fire and fury. A vocal campaigner against the Far God sect, Juanita Bishop, told the media. It might not be pretty, but what's happening now is no different to what our brave pilots are doing out there in space, defending their own kind. We will do whatever it takes to protect our children from these monsters. Local security forces have been slow to respond to the incidents, and few arrests have been made. Councillor Quinn D'Amico commented. The lack of an immediate clampdown is inexcusable. The Church is inciting criminal acts and persecuting a legally registered religion. I call upon the authorities to bring the full force of the law against any vigilante behavior. identity of Nexus confirmed. Deputy Inspector Mara Klatt, of Alliance Interpol, has broken her silence regarding the League of Reparation. At a special press conference, she made this announcement. Prior to
Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
her death at the hands
Frameshift drive supercharged.
of the League of Reparation, I worked closely with my predecessor Chief Inspector Kay Kilbride. She revealed how Fleet Admiral Buchanan's assassination could only have been arranged by a senior figure within the Alliance Defense Force. She was patiently amassing evidence pertaining to this, a task that I inherited when she died. Information decrypted from the League's comms network has confirmed Kilbride's suspicions. I can also confirm that the arrest of Admiral George Varma was due to false leads, misdirection on the part of Varma's protégé within the Alliance Defense Force, Rear Admiral Riri McAllister. Rear Admiral McAllister is Nexus, the League's central coordinator. She has now been arrested and formally charged with conspiracy to commit terrorism. We have released Admiral Varma with our apologies. The decrypted data has also revealed the location of 2 major League enclaves. The task force is organizing an operation to eradicate these groups, which we hope will be supported by the galactic community. Council member Jet Traeger
Frameshift drive charging.
was also present at the conference, and remarked, "We all owe a debt of gratitude to Inspector Klatt and the late Chief Inspector Kilbride. Thanks to their dedication, Nexus has at last been unmasked." Hopefully this marks the end of the League's reign of terror. An interview with Aisling Duval. Princess Aisling Duval has discussed her forthcoming marriage in an exclusive interview with entertainment journalist Solomon Helios. The princess spoke openly about many topics, including the impact of her announcement. "I was as surprised as everyone else. After the ball for the federal delegation, things moved very quickly. Perhaps I should have been more patient, but I wanted people to know my intentions as soon as possible." On her relationship with Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester, she said, "I had met Jordan a few times at diplomatic events, and we always got on well. He's much warmer and funnier than one would expect an ambassador to be. I don't know how I managed without him for so long." She also tackled criticism from Senators Amina Torval, among others. "Any negativity around this wedding is based on prejudice and fear. Shouldn't we all be free to love whomever we wish? Maybe if Samina was capable of such an emotion, she might understand." Regarding the future, Princess Duval revealed, "Jordan and I see this marriage as an opportunity for change. Imagine a galaxy where both superpowers work hand in hand, and support each other in times of hardship. Now that's a true marriage." Solomon Helios concluded the interview with this comment. "I'd like to sincerely thank Her Imperial Highness for speaking to us, and I'm especially happy to have received an invitation to the wedding of the century. I'll be reporting on every detail of this historic union in weeks to come." Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Admiral George Varma of the Alliance Council of Admirals has been arrested by the task force investigating terrorist organization the League of Reparation. Admiral Varma stands accused of redirecting
Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
shipments from the Alliance Defense Force to terrorist cells. It is thought that Varma is the organization's
Frameshift drive supercharged.
coordinator, operating under the alias Nexus. The Church of Eternal Void has declared war on the so-called Far God cult, which worships the Thargoids. The announcement has prompted a dramatic upswing in support for the Church, but security forces have issued reminders that the Far God sect is recognized as a religion, and that any hostility against its members would be considered a criminal act. A date has been set for the wedding of Princess. In other news, an appeal has been launched to find the owner of a lottery ticket worth 1 billion credits. The annual Galactic Jackpot is by far the most popular lottery game, but on this occasion the winner has yet to make a claim. Purchase of the winning ticket has been confirmed, but no data is available as to who bought the ticket or when. Cobra Wing, an independent organization based in Ybor, has launched an initiative to build a new research outpost in the system. The outpost will support further research into the Thargoids. focusing specifically on the possibility of interspecies communication. Finally, Didio Manager
Frameshift drive charging.
Emperor's Grace has announced that its initiative has reached a successful conclusion. Large quantities of exotic food and drink, and mined resources, were delivered to Leyden Frost Dock over the past week, allowing the organization to host a sumptuous banquet and construct a monument in honor of Admiral Myra Tiverion. And those are the main stories this week. Details of Aisling Duval's wedding first. The wedding of Princess Aisling Duval and Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester is now in the advanced planning stages, and a date has been confirmed for the ceremony. An official proclamation was printed in both the Federal Times and the Imperial Herald. Her Imperial Highness Princess Aisling Duval and the Honorable Ambassador Jordan Rochester are pleased to announce the occasion of their wedding on Saturday 25th of August 3304 at the Imperial Palace on Emerald in the Seamice system. Invitations have been extended to representatives of every strata of society. An honor guard of vessels from both the Federal Navy and the Imperial Navy will be in attendance. The couple's wish is for all citizens of the galaxy to join together in celebration of their union. There has been criticism of Princess Duval's choice of husband, with some Imperial citizens voicing dismay at the forthcoming nuptials. Senator Zemina Torval continued to publicly air her disapproval. This is nothing but a PR exercise, designed purely for political and financial gain. The princess should not be undermining the Empire's policies for her own personal benefit. But there is
Fuel scooping complete.
equal support for what many consider a genuine romance. Former Federal President Jasmina Halsey, now acting as an advisor to the Alliance, stated, "I am very enthusiastic about the opportunities for peace that this marriage will bring. This relationship symbolizes a new era of amity that will benefit all of humanity." Search for lottery winner. An appeal has been launched to find the owner of a lottery ticket worth 1 billion credits. The Federal Grand Lottery is the largest of its kind, regularly handing out millions of credits. The Grand Lottery also funds a wide range of social and infrastructure projects in Federation systems. The annual Galactic Jackpot is by far the most popular lottery game, but on this occasion the winner has yet to make a claim. Purchase of the winning ticket has been confirmed, but no data is available as to who bought the ticket or when. Tori Theopolis, a spokesperson for the Federal Grand Lottery, told the media, "Someone out there is rich beyond his or her wildest dreams, they just don't know it yet. We are keen to find this lucky individual so we can hand over their winnings. We ask all citizens to check with any lottery players they know. Your soon-to-be billionaire friend or relative might be very grateful for your help." Didio Manager Emperor's Grace Academy campaign concludes. The Didio Manager Emperor's Grace Academy has announced that its initiative has reached a successful conclusion. Large quantities of exotic food and drink, and mined resources, were delivered to Leyden Frost Dock over the past week, allowing the organization to host a sumptuous banquet and construct a monument in honor of Admiral Myra Tiverion. A spokesperson for the Didio Manager Emperor's Grace Academy released the following statement. "That was a banquet fit for an emperor. The food was sumptuous, the drink exquisite, and the revelry went on well into the early hours. I am certain Admiral Tiverion would have approved." Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from Leyden Frost Dock, in the Didio Manager system. Ebor Research Outpost. Cobra Wing, an independent organization based in Ebor, has launched an initiative to build a new research outpost in the system. The outpost will support further research into the Thargoids, focusing specifically on the possibility of interspecies communication. A spokesperson for Cobra Wing gave the following statement. "Without communication, there can be no understanding. Without understanding, there can be no peace. We ask the galactic community to support this campaign, which will support new research into the Thargoids and their methods of communication. In support of this goal, Cobra Wing has placed an open order for various commodities, and has promised to reward pilots who deliver these commodities to Morris Enterprise in the Ebor system. The organization has also placed a kill order on all ships on its wanted list, to ensure that those contributing commodities to the campaign can do so safely. The campaign begins on the 12th July 3304 and will run for 1 week.
Frameshift drive charging.
If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Alliance Admiral detained. A member of the Alliance Council of Admirals has been arrested by the task force investigating terrorist organization the League of Reparation. Admiral George Varma was confronted by Captain Niam Sutonia and Senior Agent Tanya Ramirez during a meeting on the 47th of the Donaldson starport in Elioth. Despite protests, he was placed under arrest and escorted to a secure facility. Captain Sutonia gave a brief statement to the media. "We have been trying to determine how the League of Reparation gained access to military-issue weapons, equipment and encryption. We now have evidence that Admiral Varma was secretly redirecting cargo shipments from the Alliance Defense Force to terrorist cells. It's highly likely that Varma is Nexus, the organization's coordinator, and we are proceeding on that assumption." The arrest has created diplomatic ripples, with federal and imperial ambassadors being summoned before the Alliance Assembly. Council member Jed Traeger told the Alliance Tribune, "For agents of the Federal Intelligence Agency and Imperial Internal Security Service to abduct an Alliance Admiral is an egregious transgression. They will not get away with this." The Council of Admirals has called for an independent inquiry to verify the accusations levied at Admiral Varma. Prime Minister Edmund Mahone made a public statement. "This has come as a great shock, but the body of evidence
Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
against Admiral Varma is considerable. I am confident that the
Frameshift drive supercharged.
will be fair, and that our own representative within the Tri-Superpower Task Force will ensure that justice is done." Deputy Inspector Klatt was unavailable for comment. Starport Status Update. This report presents the latest data on starports experiencing technical issues as a result of Thargoid sensor-related interference. The following starports are currently closed. Delay Survey, Ahamaka. Huston Platform, Yamahan. Malfast Terminal, Pleiades Sector, HRW, D141. Mitchell Ring, Carnaweg. Newman Camp, Shinrata Desra. Norgay Hub, Obanbori. Meanwhile, the following starports are on the brink of closure. Alexandria Dock, Tishanab. Antonia de Antrande Enterprise, Ratemir. Bernal Station, Seoul. Diggs Terminal, Cheka. Hutton Orbital, Alpha Centauri. New Home Station, Sothis. Oleari Vision, Saigon. Reab Enterprise, Tasheka. Sharon Lee Free Market, Aurea. Fringe Religion condemns Far God Cult. The Church of Eternal Void has denounced the so-called Far God Cult, which worships the Thargoids. A spokesperson identified as Cardinal Hieronymus made this statement. "As disciples of the Guardians, we hereby declare war on those who have sold
Frameshift drive charging.
their souls to the Thargoids' demons. We vow to expunge their poisonous creed, and purge them from the galaxy." Since this statement was made, the Church has seen a dramatic upswing in support from local communities. Juanita Bishop, who has been campaigning against the Far God sect, commented, "It's about time somebody did something. The public need to get behind the church and help them get these alien lovers off our streets." Security forces in many systems have issued reminders that the Far God sect is legally recognized as a religion, and that any hostility against its members will be considered a criminal act. Dr. Alfred Ulyanov, a leading exotheologian, discussed the situation on the Rewired news feed. A number of doomsayer cults have emerged recently, including Homo Terminus, Nova Imperium, and the Order of Extinction. But of all those I've studied, the Church of Eternal Void differs in one key respect: it offers hope. They claim that the veneration of the Guardians will prevent Thargoid Armageddon, which is probably why they're the most popular, being based on a classic binary theology of good versus evil. It's apparent that the Church is taking advantage of animosity towards the Far God sect to promote itself. The idea of Thargoid spies in human form, although baseless, has caused much anxiety. By declaring the cult a holy adversary, the Church validates its own existence. Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. A series of successful operations against the League of Reparation has led to much of the terrorist group being dismantled. But while the group has been dealt a severe blow, agents have yet to identify the organization's coordinator, Nexus. Meanwhile, an independent report suggests that a French Thargoid-worshipping cult may in fact be harboring undercover Thargoid agents. A leading exotheologian responded by saying that he did not believe the group to be a threat, despite its unsettling beliefs. Political journalist Cassia Carvalho has compiled a profile on Jordan Rochester, fiancé of Princess Aisling Duval, for the Imperial Herald. The article documents Rochester's family history, and raises the question of how he will balance being both a federal statesman and an imperial consort. In other news, celebrated author Rolav Redcourt has begun a promotional tour that will take him to over 50 destinations throughout the core systems. The tour will support Redcourt's new novel, Corsair King and the Storm of Desire, the 14th in a series of swashbuckling historical romances set in the 27th century. Didier Manja Emperor's Grace has completed work on the Tiverion Academy, a flight school for Imperial Naval Cadets, and is hosting an inaugural banquet to mark the event. The organization has placed an open order for exotic food and drinks to be served at the celebratory banquet, and issued an appeal for mined resources, which will be used to construct a statue of Admiral
Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
Myra Tiverion. Finally, the campaign to supply a scientific project in Cologne
Frameshift drive supercharged.
has now concluded, and construction of a resource management center has begun. Hundreds of independent pilots made the journey to deliver commodities to Tier Technology Services in the Tier system. And those are the main stories this week. A profile of Jordan Rochester. Responding to public interest in Princess Aisling Duval's fiancé, Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester, political journalist Cassia Carvalho has compiled a profile for the Imperial Herald. Jordan Rochester is now a household name throughout the Empire, though few were aware of him prior to his engagement to Princess Duval.
Frameshift drive charging.
But in the Federation, the Rochesters have been associated with success for over 200 years. The Rochester name can be traced back to self-made tycoon Apollo Rochester, who was the biggest landowner on Biggs Colony and the Altair system. Each generation since has strived for fame and wealth, and the expression "as rich as a Rochester" has become common parlance. The family matriarch is Isolde Rochester. She is a member of Congress, an influential figure in the Liberal Party and a staunch supporter of Shadow President Felicia Winters. Isolde raised 5 children, including Jordan, and it was her accomplishments that inspired her son to enter politics. Jordan's siblings chose different paths. The eldest, Jupiter Rochester, is an executive with Core Dynamics, with a personal fortune in the billions. 15 years ago he had his own celebrity. Assured that history will remember his family's name. The Didier Manja Emperor's Grace Academy inauguration. The Didier Manja Emperor's Grace has completed work on the Tiverion Academy, a flight school for Imperial Naval Cadets. The organization is hosting an inaugural banquet to mark the event, and to honor the late Admiral Myra Tiverion, the organization's founding member, who will have a monument erected at the site. A spokesperson for the Didier Manja Emperor's Grace released the following statement. The Tivorian Academy will provide new recruits with cutting-edge training facilities. To host a fitting banquet for its inauguration. We require help in sourcing a range of exotic food and drink. We also require a quantity of gold to make the monument raised in the Admiral's memory a truly spectacular tribute. The campaign begins on the 5th of July 3304, and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Colonia campaign concludes. The campaign to supply a scientific project in Colonia has now concluded, and construction of a resource management center has begun. Hundreds of independent pilots made the journey to deliver commodities to Tier Technology Services, in the Tier system. Professor Alexei de la Vega, in charge of the research project, made this statement. With the construction of a research center, we will be able to monitor population spikes and manage resource allocation throughout the region. Pilots who contributed to the project can now collect their rewards from Bolden's Enterprise, in the Tier system. Starport status update. This report presents the latest data on starports experiencing technical issues as a result.
Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
Thargoid sensor-related interference.
Frameshift drive supercharged.
The following starports are currently closed. Arend Dock, HIP 17838. Gary Gateway, Tashika.
Warning, frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
Full Survey, Sholagro. Gordon City, Anagori. Meanwhile, the following starports are on the brink of closure. Huston Platform, Yamahan. Malfast Terminal, Pleiades Sector, HR, W, D1, 41. Newman Camp, Shinrata Desra. Mitchell Ring, Karnawek. Delay Survey, Ahamaka. Cube Mugdal Enterprise, Kakas. Norgay Hub, Obanbori. A Thargoid fifth column? Amid growing public mistrust of a fringe sect that worships the Thargoids, a report suggests that the group's members may be undercover Thargoid agents. Independent journalist Flint Firemaker Lafosse shared his theories via the Rewired news feed. I'm sure you're all just as creeped out as I am by those hooded monks and their stinking hive chapels. Granted, being creepy isn't a crime, and I'm as live and let live as the next man. But isn't it strange that this cult is rising just as the Thargoids return in force? The idea of humans working on behalf of aliens might sound crazy, but think about it. All those escape pods captured by Thargoid ships, what did they want them for? After a bit of brainwashing, they'd make perfect spies, sent back to infiltrate humanity using this religion as a cover. What scares me is that these freaks don't communicate. They just lurk in the dark, waiting. celebrated author, Olav Redcourt, has begun a promotional tour, visiting over 50 destinations throughout the core systems. His new novel, Corsair King and the Storm, narrative structure, vocabulary and characterization, and the plotline will have multiple option points, enabling you to determine an ending that meets your tastes. An independent reporter approached Mr. Redcourt as he was boarding a passenger liner, but was only able to record a few short statements. These included, "Bounced across space like a damn human pinball," and "Nothing but meat for the sausage factory." The author's agent, Margot Hist, told the media, "I wouldn't pay much attention to that. Olav was probably just thinking aloud while developing a new character." Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Chief Inspector Kay Kilbride has been murdered by terrorist organization the League of Reparation. The incident took place in the city of New Rossif on Turnus World. In the wake of Inspector Kilbride's death, Alliance Interpol has assigned Deputy Inspector Mara Klatt to assume the role of Task Force Liaison. There has been a range of reactions to news that Princess Aisling Duval and Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester are to marry. A congratulatory message was sent from the Imperial Palace, but there was no comment from Emperor Arissa Lavigny Duval. Senator Zemina Torval was frank in her disapproval, while Senator Caspian Leopold, who was rumored to be courting Aisling Duval, was more supportive. Aegis has announced that it will allow technology brokers to reduce their requirements for items, in order to increase overall combat effectiveness against the Thargoids. A spokesperson for Aegis said the galactic community had worked hard to oppose the Thargoids, and that Aegis would therefore make it easier for independent pilots to obtain advanced weaponry and hardware. Meanwhile, an emergency report from Aegis has confirmed that the Thargoids have launched a large-scale assault on the Degiat system. The organization has called on all members of the galactic community for assistance in defending the system, which is home to the Garate Terminal starport. A fringe religion that worships the Thargoids has become the target of hostility, with large numbers of civilian protesters reacting angrily to the sect's openly pro-Thargoid stance. Authorities have responded with assurances that the sect's members are harmless, and that criminal acts against them may result in prosecution. In other news, scientists in Colonia have announced plans to build an outpost to monitor the region's population and resources. Professor Alexei de la Vega, who is heading the project, said the proposed outpost would focus on ensuring that the ever-expanding region would have sufficient resources in the long term. Finally, an operation to support construction of an Aegis military facility in the Pleiades Nebula has reached a successful conclusion. Hundreds of pilots supported the initiative by delivering mined resources to the Oracle, and by protecting traders in the system. And those are the main stories this week. Thargoid worshipping cult garners hostility.
Frameshift drive charging.
Reaction to a fringe religion that worships the Thargoids is one of mistrust and hostility, according to security reports. The nameless cult believes in the coming of the so-called Far God, and the subsequent extinction of all humanity bar themselves. Their hive chapels, inspired by Thargoid design, have sprung up on several independent worlds and in a few Federation and Alliance systems. Security forces and investigations have made numerous arrests for misdemeanors directed at the sect. These include graffiti, property damage, verbal abuse and physical assault. There are no recorded cases of worshippers retaliating, defending themselves or seeking assistance. Juanita Bishop, who runs a vocal citizen protection campaign, claims she is warning the public about a genuine danger. If these Thargoid lovers don't want to be human anymore, they shouldn't be allowed to live among other humans. Our governments should pack these foul-smelling freaks into ships and send them off to join the aliens they love so much. And if they don't, it's up to us to stop them. Do you really want these degenerates to creep into your home at night and do obscene alien things to your family? Many authorities have responded along the same lines as Councillor Quinn D'Amico of the Aran-Barahan system. I would like to assure citizens that the Far God worshippers, while strange, are essentially harmless. Furthermore, criminal acts against them, including incitement to violence, may result in prosecution. The right to freedom of religion is protected by law in all systems where the sect has a presence. Starport Status Update. This report presents the latest data on starports experiencing technical issues as a result of Thargoid sensor-related interference. Tsha-Lui Enterprise, TN. Goofdoc, Azrael. Hansen Platform, Djimavi. Kenin Vision, NLTT 14879. Cube Mugdal Enterprise, Kakas. Reni Hub, Euroa. Singer Orbital, Matsia. Stabe Now Survey, Cerno. Thomas Claim, Talon. Vauculus Vision, Veroclist. Walker Port, HIP 14886. The following starports continue to experience technical issues. Sturkau Port, SPOCS 253. The following starports are on the brink of closure. Arend Dock, HIP 17838. Gary Gateway, Tsheka. Gentle Survey, Jolagro. Gordon City, Angagori. Morgan Port, Kuanyin. Morton's Paradise, Desi. Colonia Scientific Installation Project. Scientists in Colonia have announced plans to build a scientific outpost in the system to monitor the region's population and resources. Professor Alexei de la Vega, who is heading the project, published this statement. Our recent study into the region's population increase has revealed alarming statistics. If Colonia's population continues to increase at the current rate, it could lead to a serious depletion of resources at some point in the future. Monitoring infrastructure, terraforming, logistics and other issues will require the construction of a dedicated center for resource management. This will allow us to study the aggregated data and formula.
Warning, frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
To structured solution
Frameshift drive supercharged.
to avoid potential problems. The campaign is being run by TIA Technology Services, one of Colonia's partner organizations, which has asked pilots to deliver commodities to Bolden's Enterprise in the TIA system. The campaign begins on the 28th of June 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Aegis installation operation complete. The operation to support construction of an Aegis military facility in the Pleiades sector, IRW, D155 has reached a successful conclusion. Hundreds of
Frameshift drive charging.
pilots supported the initiative by delivering mined resources to the Oracle, and by protecting traders in the system. An Aegis spokesperson made the following statement. Every pilot who contributed to this operation should a great deal of pride in what they've achieved. The construction of this military installation will allow us to more effectively resist external aggression. Pilots who contributed to the initiative can now collect their awards from the Pleiades sector, IRW, D155. Restoring order in Fusang. Security forces in the Fusang system are reporting that criminal organizations in the area are executing more frequent and audacious raids on civilian traffic. Wing Commander Horatio Montana Fusang Security had this to say. Our resources are stretched with the Thargoid threat, and a certain criminal element has taken advantage, increasing their presence in the system and attacking trade convoys. While our forces are continuing to maintain order, the need to defend the system from external threats has had an impact on our overall effectiveness. With the help of Blue Creative Company, we hope to curb this sudden increase in crime, and continue to concentrate our resources on combating the alien insurrection. To counter this threat, the Blue Creative Company has placed a kill order on all ships on its wanted list, and has promised to reward pilots who deliver bounty vouchers to Aegis Orbital. The campaign begins on the 28th of June 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, The campaign will end immediately. Thargoid assault on the Dekiat system. An emergency report from Aegis confirms that the Thargoids have returned to the core systems with an incursion into the Dekiat system. Admiral Aiden Tanner, Aegis's chief military liaison, delivered this statement. Following the Thargoids' retreat, all evidence suggested that their surface sites had become dormant. But new data from our Eagle Eye network shows that they have surged back to life, and that the star maps inside these structures are now pinpointing the Dekiat system. It seems this was only a brief respite while they summoned reinforcements from the Pleiades. Latest intelligence indicates that Thargoid vessels are now congregating in large numbers in Dekiat space. This is an alarming development for the Garay Terminal starport, which is on high alert. There are also several megaships active in the region, which are potential targets for the Thargoids. On behalf of Aegis, I am calling on all members of the galactic community for assistance in defending Dekiat. Without the aid of independent pilots, all assets in the system could be overwhelmed, with the loss of thousands of lives. Appended to the Aegis report was the following transmission from an unnamed commander operating in the Dekiat system. I've just been attacked by something. Thargoid for sure, but my computer couldn't identify it. Some new kind of scout, maybe? The remainder of the transmission was unavailable. Aegis reduces tech broker requirements. Aegis has announced that it will allow technology brokers to reduce their requirements for producing items, in order to increase overall combat effectiveness against the Thargoids. Henrik de la Cerda, a senior engineer at Aegis Research, clarified this development. Aegis is aware that the galactic community has worked incredibly hard to oppose the Thargoids in the core systems. To show our appreciation, we are making it easier for independent pilots to obtain advanced weaponry and hardware. We have contacted all registered technology brokers and
Warning. Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
supplied them with additional
Frameshift drive supercharged.
funding, resources and manufacturing equipment. As a result, they now need fewer commodities and materials from those purchasing their designs. Our hope is that by helping pilots to upgrade their ships, we can enhance their survivability and encourage more commanders to join the fight against the Thargoids. Alliance Inspector killed by the League of Reparation. Chief Inspector Kay Kilbride has been murdered by terrorist organization the League of Reparation, along with 4 other agents of Alliance Interpol. The incident took place in the city of New Rossif, on Turnus World. A spokesperson for Interpol released a brief report. Chief Inspector Kilbride was acting on information that a League cell was operating from an abandoned foundry complex in New Rossif. She led an assault team with the intention of capturing the terrorists. Preliminary forensics suggest that the entire complex was rigged with concealed explosives. Kilbride and 4 of her colleagues were killed instantly, with 7 others injured. Kilbride was one of 3 founding members of the Tri-Superpower Task Force investigating the League of Reparation. The other 2, Captain Niam Sutonia and
Frameshift drive charging.
Senior Agent Tanya Ramirez, made a rare joint statement on behalf of the Imperial Internal Security Service and the Federal Intelligence Agency. This is a sad day. We have lost one of our greatest champions in the fight against terrorism. It's clear that the Chief Inspector was personally targeted with misinformation designed to lure her into a trap, an act of retaliation for her recent successes against the government. Although we mourn the loss of Inspector Kilbride, our work continues. Alliance Interpol has assigned Deputy Inspector Mara Klatt to assume the role of Task Force Liaison. We look forward to working with her to eliminate this fanatical organization. Deputy Inspector Klatt was unavailable for comment. Galaxy reacts to Federal Imperial betrothal. There has been a range of reactions to news that Princess Aisling Duval and Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester are to be married. A congratulatory message was sent from the Imperial Palace, but there has been no personal comment from Emperor Arissa Lavigny Duval. News agencies on Capitol have reported rumors that the proposed marriage was not discussed with the Imperial family, and that the Emperor did not consent to the princess's engagement. Senator Zemina Torval offered a more definite statement of disapproval. This is an attention-seeking move from the princess, and a dangerous one. It is beyond her remit to impact imperial policy in this manner. Allowing her to harbor romantic fantasies is one thing, but the Empire cannot countenance such a reckless political maneuver. Senator Caspian Leopold, who until recently was rumored to be courting Aisling Duval, was more supportive. I can assure you that many senators, patrons and citizens are delighted by the news. I've been privileged to witness Princess Aisling in Ambassador Rochester's company, and they make a charming and affectionate couple. I wish them both all the happiness in the galaxy. There was no response from President Zachary Hudson, suggesting that the engagement was as unexpected to the Federation as to the Empire. But a statement was made by Congressman Isolde Rochester, the mother of Jordan Rochester. I support my son's relationship with Her Imperial Highness, and I consider this a positive step for all parties. The potential benefits of stronger ties between the Empire and the Federation are incalculable, particularly in the areas of trade and defense. Many of us in Congress hope that this happy event spearheads a new era of cooperation. Reactions from independent systems have ranged from joy to outrage. The only official response from the alliance came from a spokesperson for the office of Prime Minister Edmund Mahone, who said, "The alliance offers cordial congratulations to the couple, although it remains to be seen if their intentions become a reality." Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Aegis has confirmed that the Thargoid presence in the core systems has been significantly diminished, due largely to the efforts of the galactic community. Although the Thargoids remain entrenched in the Pleiades, their forces in the core systems have been pushed back to the Baal system, their initial beachhead. In related news, Aegis has confirmed that 3 starports attacked and damaged by Thargoid forces have now been restored to full functionality, following supportive efforts from the galactic community. The pertinent starports are Armstrong Enterprise, in the Baal system, Beaufoy Vision, in the Norni system, and Reed's Rest, in the Merope system. In other news, Princess Aisling Duval has announced that she is to wed Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester. Both Princess Duval and Mr. Rochester expressed hope that their marriage would strengthen ties between the Empire and the Federation. There has been no official comment from the Imperial Palace or the White House on the engagement. A homicide attempt by terrorist organization the League of Reparation has been foiled, and the would-be killers taken into custody. Kay Kilbride of Alliance Interpol confirmed that the captives had been transported to a secure facility for interrogation, with a view to establishing the identity of Nexus, the League's apparent coordinator. Meanwhile, renowned billionaire, Zachary Rackham, owner of Rackham Capital Investments, has made a sizable charitable donation to build new shipyards in the Colonia region. Every planetary port in the region, bar Colonia Hub, will soon be able to offer pilots a full range of services. Aegis has announced plans to build a military installation in the Pleiades. An Aegis spokesperson confirmed that the development was a response to the recent occupation of the Socho system, headquarters of Aegis Corps, by a hostile criminal element. Aegis Research has placed an open order for mined resources for use in the construction. Finally, Senator Caspian Leopold has announced that his appeal for commodities has been enthusiastically received by the galactic community. The materials will be used to build a rehabilitation center for those affected by war. And those are the main stories this week. Aisling Duval announces marriage to Federal Ambassador. Princess Aisling Duval has made an unexpected announcement regarding her relationship
Frameshift drive operating beyond safety limits.
with Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester.
Frameshift drive supercharged.
At a press conference in her palace on Emerald, the princess looked radiant as she addressed the media. It's no secret that Jordan and I grew close during his official visit. The time has come to let you know that we are to be husband and wife. I'm aware that some will see this as unorthodox, even controversial, but love knows no borders. It's our wish that our marriage will build lasting bridges between the Empire and the Federation. A statement from Ambassador Rochester appeared in a special edition of the Federal Times. Representing the Federation has been my life's work, but meeting Her Highness, Aisling, made me realize that being by her side means even more. We hope that our betrothal will usher in a new era
Frameshift drive charging.
of cooperation between the two superpowers. Among the media reactions was this from entertainment journalist Solomon Helios. I've been reporting on Princess Duval's romantic life for a while now, and even see this coming. Can Aisling really pull this off? Could a Federation gentleman actually marry into the Imperial family? Will Emperor Lavigny Duval and President Hudson share a dance at the wedding? Or will they stand to prevent this union from taking place? The galaxy might never be the same again. As yet there has been no official comment from the Imperial Palace or the White House.
Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage.